Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a concealer video for you. We have two new concealers, the Westman Atelier one and then the Victoria Beckham. These were released very close to each other and I thought it would be helpful to put them side by side, show you how they compare. I will wear them throughout the day and do some check-ins in natural light so you can really see how they perform. I have been wearing them for a few weeks or since they released and I have my thoughts on them, but I wanted to show you guys on camera. I also have the CL concealer right here. I have been testing this one out as well, but I am going to do a get ready with me, pretty much my next video, and show you how that one works, but I will give you a few thoughts on these three. So let's get started. I am going to start with the Westman Atelier concealer. This one I've used the most, and I have two shades right here. I have M1 and M2. I initially purchased the shade M1 and it was quite yellow. I think it's supposed to be light, medium, neutral. It's not. It is quite yellow. Here is the packaging for Westman Atelier. The lights are quite bright, so it's gonna wash it out a little bit, but it is beautiful. It looks very, very tiny. And when I got it in, I was like, wow, that looks like a sample concealer. But then I looked at the ounces and it seems kind of reasonable with some other concealers that I have. The Westman Atelier has 6 ml of product in it. My Kulfi concealer has 5 ml in it. And you can see that it is much smaller than my Kulfi one. And then, for example, Makeup Forever, this one has 4.7 ml. So the Westman Atelier has more product than both of these. Let's look at the Hourglass one. Okay, so the Hourglass has 6 ml, exactly the same amount as the Westman Atelier one, and you can see that it is so much bigger. So I personally absolutely love this packaging. It's tiny, it feels luxurious. You can see the product right here. The applicator is really nice and this is just compact, feels luxurious. I'm really liking it. This concealer is called the Vital Skincare Brightening Concealer with Hyaluronic Acid. It is $48, so it's a pricey little thing. Obviously, Westman Atelier in general is very expensive and it comes only in 16 shades. We could do better than that, but it says it is a precise buildable coverage concealer clinically shown to reduce the look of dark circles, featuring serum strength skincare to hydrate, visibly brighten, and soothe. Now let's take a look at a Victoria Beckham concealer. This one seems much bigger than the Westman Atelier, but you only get 2.4 ml. That's all. That is absolutely insane how little a product you get in here. And this concealer is $68. That to me is just absolutely ridiculous. Now, this has some other skincare benefits in it, but still, $68 for 2.44 ml. It's absolutely just no. Now this concealer is in collaboration with Augustina Spader and it has the famous TFC8 in it. So I mean, I understand this is a very famous brand and it is very focused on skincare and it's supposed to be renew your skin. It has high-grade vitamins, lipids, peptides, and then it's supposed to be just kind of anti-aging and help damage to your skin. Now, don't get me wrong, I like skincare in my foundation and concealer, not so much in other products, but you know, it doesn't hurt to have good ingredients, but personally, I would like to invest in my skincare more rather than just in a concealer or a foundation, mostly when you charge so much money. I don't deny that Augustina Spader is incredible. Their products are absolutely phenomenal. I've tried some of the skincare from them and it worked really well, but it's just very little product. You know, I think that's my biggest beef with this, that they give you just so little, very, very stingy. I love the packaging. It's all black. It feels nice and chic. You have the Victoria Beckham here with the Augustina Spader brand blue. And then it is just a click pen, very reminiscent of the Touche Éclat system. This concealer also comes only in 16 shades, but because this is more of a light to medium coverage, I think you can stretch the coverage a little bit more than the Westman Atelier one. Now that we have all this information, let's get to applying. I am going to swatch on my hand the Westman Atelier one. I have, like I mentioned, M1, which is supposed to be light, medium, neutral. And then I also have the M2, which is light, medium, peach. I have gotten a tan, so I will look more tan than normal. And I've also upgraded my lighting, so it will look a little different. Hopefully you'll see the colors a little bit more, just better and more intense. Okay, so here are the colors. This is Westman Atelier M1, M2, and this is the Victoria Beckham L2. This is supposed to be, I think, light, medium, neutral, or light neutral. Let me look it up. Light with neutral, warm undertones. Now, do tell me if this M1 does not look yellow to you. Okay, that looks incredibly yellow. And then, to be honest, this looks the most neutral one, the Victoria Beckham. It doesn't seem to have a ton of warmth in it. Here is a close-up of the colors. I'm gonna kind of spread this one out so you can see the texture and the coverage. And then the Victoria Beckham one. You can kind of tell that the Victoria Beckham, it's kind of blending away a lot faster, and then the Westman Atelier definitely has more coverage. I'm going to start with Westman Atelier. I'm going to use the shade M2. That works much better for me. I am wearing a Clé foundation. It is this one right here, and the shade is 040. Again, I did get a tan. I should have thought this through and not get a tan before I showed you guys these products, but we'll make it work. So we are going to use the Westman Atelier first. I am going to put it a little bit throughout and kind of cover any spots. You do not need a lot of this product. Initially, it feels quite thicker, and that threw me off first time I just touched it. And I thought, oh no, this is so much thicker than I expected. Almost kind of a little bit like how Slabs, how that one in the beginning feels just like a little thicker. I ended up not liking that concealer at all. I know everybody likes it, but it was just too heavy for me. I did not love it. But this one does blend in very, very easily. It covers so incredibly well. And I have to say, I absolutely love this concealer. I have worn it since I received it, which I pre-ordered this one. So I had it for quite some time, quite a few weeks, and I love it. It is very good coverage. It sits so well under the eyes. This is one that you don't have to set if you don't want to. It is more self-setting. And I was surprised how much I liked it just because it was on the thicker side. But the way it just smooths the skin under my eyes, it does something. I think it is so beautiful, and it doesn't look heavy. You can see just how well that covered. I would say it's medium to full coverage. It's not completely full coverage, medium, and you can build this up a little bit more, but this is more than enough coverage for me. I think it looks really, really nice and smooth. I'm gonna take the concealer just a little bit and pinpoint a couple areas, maybe a little bit of my nose. Maybe I should do the whole nose with this. But again, this has quite a lot of pigment, and it does feel a little thicker in the beginning, but it blends in so easily, and it kind of melts into the skin and works so well with whatever you have underneath. I have worn it with many foundations and by itself, and I've never had a problem with this whatsoever. Okay, so this is Westman Atelier, and then obviously Nothing. And I think it covered really, really well. I think it looks great. Let's move on to Victoria Beckham. Now this is not supposed to be medium coverage or full. It's supposed to be on the lighter side. I've been testing this out, not as much as the Westman Atelier. I've had the Westman Atelier longer. And I've been trying to test out the CL one as well. I'll give you a few thoughts on that one in a little bit, but I will do a try-on video on that one as well. But with this one from Victoria Beckham, I initially loved the way it looked on the skin. I was like, wow, that looks so beautiful. And it covered better than I expected. It covered better than the YSL Touche Eclat one, which I liked that concealer. It's very light coverage. It's a barely there kind of coverage, but I love that. I like no makeup. And so I feel like I was one of those that could appreciate the Touche Eclat, but don't have expectations for coverage. So that one is the Victoria Beckham one. And it is much more skin-like, much more like a cream, under-eye cream. You know what? I have to say that I'm not mad about the coverage. I didn't add a ton, and I feel like it covered some, like obviously not, I wouldn't say it's medium coverage, but I would say it's light to medium. It's not as intense as my Westman Atelier one, but it looks much more natural. I mean, you can barely see that I have anything on. And I think that was the whole point of this concealer. I will build it up a little bit just to kind of show you what you can do. I'm putting it on my eyelids as well because they're kind of red. I did work out this morning, and you know, your skin just kind of gets redder. Even though I took a shower and everything, it was still kind of nice and rosy. I'm also adding just a little bit right here. You can use your finger as well for this. You don't need to use a brush. Those are the concealers side by side. Here we have the Westman Atelier one, and then the Victoria Beckham one. They're different. They're different styles. I was hesitant to review these side by side just because I'm like, these aren't supposed to do the same thing. But I think this will be helpful for all the people that have asked so many questions about these. I got a lot of requests to review them, and I thought this would just be helpful so you can see the different coverage of these concealers. I am going to go finish the rest of my makeup. You know what? I forgot to tell you that I have these Gucci highlighters. I have 3 different colors, and I may just put one on for you. Again, I'm gonna do a little bit more on these highlighters in my next video. It's a get ready with me, so I'm going to use a lot of random products, but I will show you how one of these looks like. Comparing the CL with these products, CL has fuller coverage than the Victoria Beckham. Initially, the Westman Atelier feels a little thicker and that it has better coverage. That's the CL right there, Westman Atelier right here. But I've worn the CL one multiple times, and it had very good coverage under the eyes. Not quite full, but good. And it's a little thinner than the Westman Atelier. I really enjoyed the CL one. I do need a few more days to kind of compare it to the Westman Atelier and fully give you my thoughts. But I did think that they were kind of similar, the way it made my under eyes look much more perfected, and it lasted really well throughout the day. So yeah, a quick kind of comparison. The CL and Westman Atelier are more similar than I thought that they would be. I think Westman Atelier still has just a little bit more coverage, and the CL has the most slight luminosity to it. You can see right there, as the Westman Atelier kind of dried down completely. And with Westman Atelier, I can choose to not set this if I don't want to. I usually set it a little bit with a lighter powder, just because it just makes everything smoother, but it is a self-setting concealer. The CL I did powder last time. But yeah, this is just a quick comparison. It's not my final thoughts. I still need to test out the CL one a little bit more, and I'll get back to you. Okay, let me go finish the makeup and then I will powder with you on camera these so you can see how they look like. I'm gonna share real quick what products I put on. I put my my Valentino bronzer in, that's just a universal bronzer. I put a little bit of the Pomelo Peach from Haus Labs. I wanted something that wasn't glowy so I can show you the highlighter, and I thought that was pretty. And then on my eyes, I have the YSL Quad. This is in the color 710. I love this one so much, and I just kind of put all the colors all over. It's easy, soft. I will definitely use it live on camera. I should have done that now, but I kind of forgot. Okay, so this is the makeup all together. The mascara I've been using lately is the Charlotte Tilbury new mascara. I love it. It's quite intense and I have a feeling like it's gonna dry out, and it's really messy on the cap right there. You see how it's kind of getting gunky right there, but I love the way this looks on the lashes and they last. This is, I think, one coat actually. Let's put another coat. I find myself reaching for just one coat with this mascara, just because it does a good job and like very intense. I have not powdered yet, and I will. I just want you to see first how the concealers look side by side and kind of what are your thoughts. I definitely see more coverage on the Westman Atelier one. The Victoria Beckham is less noticeable. It kind of looks like I'm not wearing much. But I do enjoy the coverage of the Westman Atelier and just kind of the smoothness that one gives. I hope the camera can pick this up. I know reviewing concealer is just so difficult because what I see in person is very hard to reflect on camera. But this is how we're looking like right now. I will powder with my Givenchy powder. This is the old formula, but I just wanted a reliable, very thin powder. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of this powder, tap it in my hand, and then I'm just gonna set both of these slightly, and then, gosh, this powder is incredible. I still cannot believe they changed it. Like I'm hoping that they're gonna bring the other one back. Maybe have two versions, with talc and without talc, for people to choose from, but like incredible. I have here the Makeup by Mario new powder. I have here Tower 28 powder. I've been using the La Prairie, Chanel, and I'm just telling you, nothing compares to this one. Just nothing. So I'm still mourning that powder, and I don't have a full, well, that's not true. I have one full size, but it's a limited edition shade. It's the shade 12, which is wonderful. It has some lavender in it, but I don't have full size of my shade 3. Now, if my skin wasn't so oily, it's kind of calming down a little bit because the summer's starting to be over. I would skip powder and kind of show you how the concealer performs without a powder, but I truly don't think that it's wise because I do get oily. I need the powder, and without it, I don't think I would do justice to the concealer. So here are the concealer side by side, Westman Atelier powdered, and then Victoria Beckham powdered. So far, I think they both look good. I prefer the side of Westman Atelier because it gives me more coverage and it's just more smoother. But for days where I'm not wearing much makeup, I can absolutely see the Victoria Beckham being the go-to. I feel like the Westman Atelier is more of that kind of glam concealer for me. And I do enjoy a no makeup. There's many days, most of the days actually, where I put just an SPF, tinted SPF, and just a very light coverage concealer, some lips, and I'm done for the day, maybe blush. But I enjoy that look. But just looking at this, definitely the Victoria Beckham looks just smoother, more perfected. Overall, right now, I prefer this one. But let me show you the Gucci highlighters. I have them right here. I actually have 3 colors. Here are the 3 shades that I picked up. I'm trying to not blind you, but this is the 01, 03, and then 04 opal pink. This one right here is warm gold, and then sunrise gold. Let me swatch them for you. This formula is quite interesting. It's a powder cream formula. It feels a little bit putty, and some of the colors are more intense than the other ones. This is the 01, 03, 04. My favorite is the 04. It reminds me a little bit of the Peau de Pêche, but these are more intense. But the 01 is the softest one out of all of them. It has a pink shift, which kind of turned me off initially, but then I swatched it in store and I thought it was pretty. Maybe we'll use that one today. Again, I'm gonna use these in coming videos. I wasn't planning to test these out for you, but why not? I am taking the Isom and Sophie Essie's Beauty collab T47, and I'm gonna take a little bit of this. This is again the 01, and the formula is just so interesting. Let me get a different shade that won't blind you. This one, you see it's like, it's putty-ish. Yeah, it's quite putty, and this one's very intense, so you gotta be careful. But let's start with the 01. This is the softer one, and because I'm doing a wear test on this concealer, I didn't want too much highlighter. Ooh, that's really pretty. Definitely has that pink shift, but it's not too much. There was a color, a lilac color. It wasn't for me. I wasn't gonna spend the money on it, but if you like, it's kind of more like a blush topper highlighter. But this one is really pretty. This is the softest one out of all of them, because the other ones can be extremely blinding, to be honest. I just have to be careful with those. The formula is very interesting, but is this worth the, I want to say it was $58? No, absolutely not. But this is pretty, but not worth the money in my opinion. The packaging is nice. Now, if you want, okay, let's just take just a tiny bit of the 04. If you use your finger, you're gonna have so much impact. It's gonna be so intense. But if you use a brush, it's just gonna be a little softer. Okay, so I added there. Yeah, that's a lot. And because the formula is more of that putty cream to powder, I don't even know how to call it, it is a little bit more difficult to pick up with certain brushes than others. So I found that a more dense brush, usually a more kind of natural bristles, works pretty well. If I use synthetic fluffy, it won't pick up much of the product. But yeah, that's just the tiniest bit of this color because it's so intense and pigmented. I just don't want to add too much. But those are the Gucci highlighters. I do like them, but I'm gonna give you more thoughts on another video. I just thought maybe you guys would enjoy to see one in action. So, okay, that is the makeup right now. I do feel like I need just a little bit more blush to blend in with that highlighter. Just using my Pomelo Peach, and we're just gonna blend all that in. And here is the makeup all put together with the concealers. I would love to know your thoughts so far on the concealers. What do you think? These are both very expensive concealers. Obviously, the Victoria Beckham is significantly more expensive. Mostly per ounce or per ml is just incredibly expensive. And right now, I prefer the Westman Atelier side. I like the coverage, the smoothness, the blurriness. And I have found with the Victoria Beckham throughout the day that it just makes my under eyes look a little bit old or crepey. I don't know if because the consistency is so much thinner, although it doesn't feel like water or serumy at all. It still feels like it has substance to it, but it's just a little bit more, I don't know, maybe drying. Let me actually feel that on my hand, because, you know, sometimes you try a product and you know how it makes you feel and look, but yeah, the consistency is not super incredibly thin. It does have kind of a little bit like the YSL one, just a little thicker and maybe more coverage than the YSL one. But we're going to see how it wears throughout the day. The Westman Atelier, I've had zero problems with wear test. This has worn all day long. It's like bulletproof. I loved it. The one that I'm more curious how it's going to perform is the Victoria Beckham. Okay, that's it for now, guys. I'll see you in just a little bit. First check-in, and it's not changed much. It's been maybe an hour at best, and everything looks pretty much the same, but I am standing in front of light, so I thought it would be helpful to just show you up close how these concealers look like. This one right here is the Westman Atelier one, and then here we have the Victoria Beckham. And to me, and what I see in the mirror, this just looks smoother. Does it look more like concealer? Yes, because it has more coverage. But to me, it still looks quite smooth. This one looks nice as well. We'll see how it wears throughout the day. The highlighter, it looks really pretty. But yeah, not much has changed. I really like the Westman Atelier. I like the coverage. I feel like it's that perfect kind of medium buildable coverage. And I like the Victoria Beckham as well. It's just a different style. It's for the days when I don't want much makeup on. But yeah, this is the first check-in. I'm not sure how many check-ins I'm gonna do. I have kind of a busy day, but not very exciting. I have to go train tonight, and so I have to take my makeup off around 7 o'clock because I can't wear makeup at jiu-jitsu, and so that's just how far we can test it out. So it's probably going to be like an 8-9 hour test, and I feel like that's very doable for a concealer. And I already have my thoughts on these. I've already tested them out, but I do want you to see it on camera. So this is first checking, and I'll see you in a little bit. I'm hungry. I'm gonna go make some food, and that's it. Second daylight check-in, and I'm actually in bed editing. I'm waiting for Andrew to bring me a coffee. It is starting to be colder and more fall-like, and I am just in heaven. So I'm just excited to have a cappuccino and edit in bed. But the concealers, this is how they're looking. This is the Victoria Beckham. Let me zoom you in right here. And then Westman Atelier. What do you guys think? I'm actually surprised how well the Victoria Beckham is lasting. The past couple of times where I wore this, I did set it with a different powder that I was testing out, so maybe that's what it was, but it didn't last as well. It was starting to get like kind of crepey, but I feel like it's doing really well right now. I still like Westman Atelier better. I think it just looks smoother, but I will say I would feel a little out of place if I were to wear this on a no makeup kind of day, just because it has so much coverage, and I do like a very natural concealer when I'm wearing just a tinted SPF. By the way, the highlighter is really, really pretty. I keep catching myself in the mirror and I'm like, ooh, that's actually pretty. It does have that rose, like pinkish tint to it, but it's not too much. So no crazy updates. I think both of these products are lasting pretty well. I'm trying to look at my camera phone. Yeah, I just think the Westman Atelier is smoother overall. It's just put almost like a blurring layer over the under eye, whereas the Victoria Beckham just made it look like skin, but once it's starting to set or my oils are coming through, I feel like it is starting to, I don't know, look a little bit more, not crepey, but just more like skin. But yeah, I think they're both lasting really well. Very different types of concealers. I think it just depends on the preference that you have. So this is going to be my last natural check-in in natural light because it's already 3:30 and I am going to do my last checking at like 6:30. So I'm not going to have a lot more time, but I think a total should be about 8-hour wear test. And that's it for now. I'm going to finish off the video real quick with my final thoughts. I'm in a bit of a hurry, but I've worn this pretty much all day. It is, what, 6 o'clock now. And I think they both lasted really well. I'm actually happy that they were both working. I prefer the Westman Atelier over the Victoria Beckham. Victoria Beckham, it's too expensive. Even with the skincare ingredients, I just don't think it's worth it. In my personal opinion, I would rather invest in actual skincare rather than a concealer. But that's just my thought. I know some people don't share my opinion. The Westman Atelier also has some skincare ingredients in it, but I do like the coverage a little bit more. You know, if the Victoria Beckham had better coverage, I think I would give it a little bit extra points. But because it's so light on the skin, you're pretty much paying for the skincare, not really for the concealer. I think Westman Atelier wins. The way it lasts, the way it looks, how smooth it stays under the eye. And I like the coverage better. And yes, it's still expensive compared to my Kulfi and other concealers, but I really do enjoy it. I find myself reaching for this one, and I know it's such a reliable concealer because I know it's gonna stay there throughout the day. At this point, I would probably take a little powder. I have the new Tower 28 little powder here, and just take this and, you know, make sure my forehead, look at that, just smoothed everything. All I need is this in here, and it makes me look like I just did my makeup. Yeah, just looking so up close, I just feel like this side is not as flattering as the Westman Atelier, and it has less product on there and less coverage, which is why I choose the Westman Atelier over Victoria Beckham. That's it for now, guys. I hope this was helpful. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and make sure you subscribe down below if you're new here, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.